Hi everybody, welcome back to Bobby's Bucks, and today I wanted to talk about e-bikes and hunting and how a majority of the videos out on YouTube right now are actually misinformation, and I wanted to share the rules and regulations of Michigan and how, from as far as I know, Idaho is the only state where e-bikes are allowed. We're going to talk all about it today. Here we go. So I spoke with the DNR operating office and also spoke with the DNR officer today and got some really good information, and he actually shared a few stories with me where some bikes had been confiscated. And so first off, just know that public hunting ground e-bikes are not allowed. They're considered motorized vehicles, and they're cut into classes 1 through 4. And basically class 1 is your motorized vehicle or bike goes on to 20 miles per hour. So basically you can read some rules and regulations based on how bikes aren't considered motorized vehicles. Well, bicycles with pedals that are manually pedaled are not considered vehicles. Okay, this is something that is legal on public hunting ground. It's always been legal, and you can take, not even though all trails aren't bike accessible, you can still take a bike onto public hunting ground. Okay, but e-bikes are considered motorized vehicles, even class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, and those are all defined a little differently. Like class 1 is up to 20 miles per hour, class 2 is up to 28 miles per hour, class 3 is where it's pedal assist, and then the class 4 is where you can take this on roads. They're confiscating e-bikes. You have to pay to get them back. You're fined $500. You have up to possible 90 days in jail. Now, the DNR officer can basically exercise his own discretion, okay? But the judge will actually hear the evidence and then make the judgment. It's just no good. I wanted to let you guys know that. As soon as I found this out, I knew I had to make a follow-up video and share this so folks aren't out buying e-bikes, because if you take this e-bike and paint it, I'm only allowed to use this on my property. I'm only able to use this here, or maybe a family member or a friend that has some property. This is a motorized vehicle designated for ORV trails. Now, Michigan has a lot of those. They certainly don't have as many of those as they do public hunting grounds, but that's where this belongs. So you can use this, and the reason why they do that is because they consider e-bikes on the wildlife habitat kind of the same way chicken coops are on maybe some lush green grass. Yes, it's nice and beautiful, lush right now, but pen in some chickens and see what it looks like after a couple days. And the DNR is split up into different responsibilities as far as enforcement and wildlife habitat and farming, and even clear cuts and forest contracts and things like that. And all these tax dollars go to these programs. And if snowmobiles and quads and e-bikes as well were out tearing it up, because this thing goes 30 miles per hour, it goes over 30 on the street. And that's going to kick up some dirt, and it's going to do some serious damage. And after hearing them talk about it, it makes sense to me. I understand why there's not hundreds of e-bikes allowed out on wildlife habitat. And as far as public hunting ground goes, I purchased a bike that looks a lot like this, and that's why my bow rack isn't on this bike anymore, and I'm going to keep this bike for private. But public hunting ground is absolutely illegal. And if you think you can get away with it, I really recommend not doing that, because after hearing the story about how, and this is what happened, hunter number 1 watched hunter number 2 zip by him every day. And hunter number 1 finally got annoyed and contacted the authorities. DNR officer waited at the end of the night for hunter number 2 to come back and confiscated the bike, fined him. I don't know how the rest of it went, because that's in the judge's hands. If you're buying the bike specifically for public hunting ground, you may want to rethink this. Now, fat tire bikes, they're not as easy to pedal as the regular smaller tire bikes, but the cargo, when you have your bow or your rifle or your backpack on a fat tire bike, it's gonna hold the load a lot better, and it's of course gonna go over rocks and twigs and just terrain a lot smoother than a regular bike. I've switched over to a fat tire bike because of the cargo and the climbing sticks and the stuff that I'm carrying out to my tree stand. And it's almost like every day I see a new posting for a public land hunting bike. And one thing that the DNR officer said that resonated with me was people can't plead ignorance anymore. 95% of the United States has a cell phone in their pocket. And with all that information right in your pocket, I still think e-bikes are the absolute best choice for hunting. They'll get you in and out of the woods quietly. You're not gonna leave the gas smell, the human smell, or at least this tire is gonna be less of a footprint to pressure deer. But I just think that, folks deserve to know, and there's so many videos, and I was guilty of this too, getting excited before I read and found out all the information, and gonna absolutely keep my e-bike for private land, but and I know some folks don't care about the rules, but I mean, you should know that you're gonna get fined. You're gonna have to buy this bike pretty much all over again just to get it back. And another thing, I look at this sport like an absolute challenge. The wildlife habitat, we're all using this, we're sharing this. Hunting public land to me is more challenging than hunting my private land. I know where the deer are coming in, know where the deer are coming. I can control everything. I may have a hunter pop up in a certain spot one day where I have to change the game plan. So whenever I'm harvesting 3-year-olds on public land here in Michigan, that's huge. That's a big deal. It's tough to even find a 3-year-old, let alone harvest them. So when you're harvesting mature deer on public land around all those other hunters, you're shooting these deer and killing these deer ethically within the rules and regulations. That's something that I can feel good about. I can sleep at night. We're working together, we're sharing this land. So this is just something that I'm passionate about. I wanted to share this. Please leave your thoughts down in the comments below. If you think I'm crazy or if you just don't care, please leave those comments too. I'm curious. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.